What's up, guys? It's your boy Fuad back here on eSports Boxing Club with another interview. And this time, we're not joined by a fighter because that's not only the only aspect of the game. We've got coaches, we've got cutmen, we've got cornermen, the men that help you get you through your career. And we've got one of the best around at the moment, the one and only Dave Coldwell joins me today. Dave, how you doing?
Very good, mate. How's yourself?
Not too bad. It's difficult, but we're still working here. We're still providing the content for the fight fans.
That's the main thing, is that we just can keep moving forward and keep going best you can, and like you say, just keep delivering that content for the fans out there. That's the most important thing. Keep them sane, and in turn, that will keep you sane as well.
100%, and that's the main thing right now. The game is blowing up. We've been seeing so much news recently, all the way from the website to the posts to the deals that have been done, everything that's been updated on the social media. If you guys haven't already checked it out, be sure to check it out. The fans are definitely heavily excited. I want to take your thoughts on the game. You've obviously known about it for a while now. But I don't think I've heard you speak. No one's actually asked you the question like outright in an interview. What has your thoughts been on eSports Boxing Club? Because you've seen it from the ground up now to the position it's.
Do you know what? I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to be involved in it. Way back when I came on board, I went up to the studios. We had the filming and taking all the screenshots and everything, but then they showed me the movement patterns when they was doing. They put Hope. I took Hope and Jordan up there as well. They had them on the suits, wearing the suits and the movements. You're looking at a laptop, you see how this next gen movement and everything. It's like, what? It's crazy. And then bit by bit, they show you the stills, and then they start showing you bits of the gameplay. This is phenomenal, and it's been, it's something that I've got kids, so it's even more exciting for me because I've got kids, and I'm involved in this computer game. But it's not just a computer game; it's a game that's going to go absolutely massive, because I think when people heard it was an independent, I think they thought, oh, it's not going to be great. We've seen a couple of boxing games in the past where it's not done a good job, but not been great. And I think the little bits of trailers that the eSports have put out, everybody gone, what's this? This is next level, and it really is. And they've not even seen anything yet. This is going to be brilliant, and it's going to blow up. And I'm really excited about it, and I'm so impressed with it. I'm so impressed with the thought and the detail they've gone into it, going and getting these, not just the fighters, but people like myself, trainers, cutmen, but getting the different belts and things like that. It just makes it a little bit more real, a little bit more realistic for the fans getting involved.
And I know you play some games with your son, especially. I've seen on your Instagram. Has he digested the fact that he could be playing a boxing game, creating his own character, then being cornered by his dad? Kind of.
Do you know what? We haven't looked at it at that point. No, we haven't. I'll mention that to him. But he's excited for it because he's not the biggest boxing fan, but he knows my fighters and he loves my fighters and the fighters I've had in the past, like Bellew, Chisora, and people like that, different fighters. So he knows all these fighters, and to see him in a game, he's going to be absolutely buzzing, because it's for a kid, that's people that are in a game, on a personal level, that's quite big. So his dad being in the game as well, that's gonna be another thing. So that's gonna be exciting. But like I said, from my point of view, I'm dead proud of it. My kids are gonna be playing a game that I'm gonna be involved in. So it's good.
Yeah. It's definitely huge. Right, let's get into the main subject of today. We've got two sides of it, but we're going to start off with obviously a coach's career. How does it start off? Where does it start off? And how can you really go from an amateur coach to a world championship coach? I think the coach in boxing sometimes is undervalued because the whole set of eyes of the fans are on the fighter, on the fight night, the fight, what's going to happen, the action. But everything that happens behind the scenes is drilled in by the coaches. Themselves, as you know yourself, you have to come through a journey to where you get to the top. Where did it start for you, and what's usually the path for coaches that come through?
Well, every story is individual. Some coaches have come along with somebody and it's been a relatively quick route to the top once we started working with a professional fighter. But there is always a backstory to that, whether it's somebody that's came in late to the game as such, and or something that started years ago. So for myself, I started coaching kids in 1996. So whereas people think I just popped along with Bellew, no. 1996, started training kids. Had an older guy that was training a young gentleman that he ended up having a few amateur fights, then turning pro. And then I ended up getting my own gym in 2000 and had my own amateur club. So I started off with my own amateur club, worked as a spit bucket man as a house second on the Frank Warren shows, holding a bucket like that, making sure that if I don't spit him, I've only got short arms, so I'm trying to extend my arms, making sure they don't spit on me, and just listening.
I can relate to that one. I can relate to that one.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a little bit taller than you are.
Let's not even start that one today. I'll come back to the we'll measure each other up.
As long as you've got hair. So I started doing things like that. Had some good kids as amateurs. Then one of them turned pro. One of them was old enough to turn pro. Got my coach's license. In fact, Richie Wenton was the first fighter I had that I coached professional. And the first corner I did, I had Darky Smith do the lead corner. I brought him in because I wasn't experienced, but he was the first fight that I coached, and it was a British title fight. And so Darky did the face-to-face stuff in the corner. And I was leaning over the ropes giving the instructions. But my bulk of the stable at that point was either young kids or journeyman fighters. Now, people that don't know, journeyman fighters, 9 times out of 10 they're going to get beat. So I'd be driving up to Scotland with my fighter for a 4-round fight, which is 12 minutes long, kind of knowing that we're going to get beat on points because my kid's tough and he knows how to look after himself. So you're driving all the way up there, driving all the way back, losing on points.
I just want to pause you there. What's the atmosphere like? Kind of know, because in boxing, especially you especially when you're at the highest level, you're going to win. The whole mindset is winning. But when you're with a fighter who, with all due respect, is in that stage of their career, is doing boxing for that reason, and they know this is how it 90% of the time will pan out. What's the sort of energy like going up to the arena? Because I can't really imagine.
So I mean, I always wanted my fighters to go and give it a go and see if they could beat him first, because a good journeyman will go in there trying to win, and then if he realizes the kid's too good, settles in and just be safe, and then you just navigate them through, making sure they're safe, make sure they don't get hurt. But you look to try and exploit it and try and nick a win. That's I always work with fighters, even like I said, journeyman, bad records. They went in with the attitude that, listen, if this kid's not as good as they're making him out to be, I want to expose him. I want to nick a win. And I did. I remember I had Daniel Thorpe. We went down to the Midlands and he was fighting an unbeaten prospect in a kid called Hyder Ali, being touted as this, that, and other. And Thorpe beat him. And that was such a buzz. It's such a buzz when you get a win in the away corner with a journeyman. But that was always the energy that I always had and insisted, because my guy, I trained them. So it's not like they come in once or twice a week. We trained. And then they'd go, and if they were in over the Reds or in against good opposition, it's like, okay, let's be safe, be smart, and navigate your way through it. But with certain fighters, no matter how, no matter, I had a light heavyweight. It was a super middleweight that became a light heavyweight. It was very, very tough, very, very strong. But he could have won a lot more fights than what he did if he'd have wanted to. And he was frustrating because you would kind of know, I'm talking to him saying, you can beat this kid, rah. You get in round one after round one, you think, see, you can beat this kid, but then you're just not doing enough. So that'd be frustrating on the drive back. You're thinking, oh, I drove all that way and you could have won it, but But that's boxing. That's boxing. And like I said, different people have different goals in this sport. Some people just want to do it as a business, And they're the ones that, if they look after the money, they can earn a lot of money out of the game. Then others want to be area champion, others want to be British champion, others want to be world champion, you know?
Yeah. So there's definitely different steps. So once you sort of pay your dues with, you know, bringing up the amateurs slowly, you say go from the spit bucket man to amateurs to journeyman, and then where does that shift? Where does it go to?
So,
I might have a champion here.
I had a guy that came to me that was, you know, I remember Barry McGuigan on Sky TV, watching him on TV. He got stopped, and McGuigan said, "Oh, he needs to retire. This." He came to me. It was a guy that I used to train with when I was boxing at Brendan's, a guy called Chris Emmanuel, and I coached him, and we went on a good run. He ended up being number 6 in Britain. And he won a you know, I think it was an area or a British Masters title or something. That was a big achievement for him, and he was my first champion of any sort. So that was a great night, and that was, you know, great memories. But then it progresses. You have a little stable of a few good fighters coming through, few unbeatens, and then, you know, I forget the timeline, but then, you know, Ryan Rose came to me and asked me to train him, and then it just kind of escalated from there. I had Ryan, I had Kel. Ryan won the British, won the European Fought Canelo for a WBC world title. Kel Brook won the British title with me. Lee McAllister won. He came to me from Scotland. He won a Commonwealth title, and so it kind of like snowballed into that. And you know, and then beyond it, it's just. Sometimes people like to think that you've just fallen into it and things like that, but there's a lot of work that goes into coaching fighters, and there's a lot of time for the success that I have these days. It took years for me to get there, you know, to get to that point. I've been in boxing 30 years now, you know, 30 years. So it's not a quick process. Some, don't get me wrong, some do, and fair play to them. Listen, if you can do it in a shortcut, fair play. You know, and I would never begrudge anyone that. But all I'll say is I'll not apologise for you know, where I'm at in the sport and what I'm doing in the sport, because it took me a long time, and you know, that's kind of how it is. People out there that say to me, "Oh, I want to be a coach." I want to go into it. So when I was boxing at Brendan Ingles' gym. I didn't just box, come in, train, go home. I would come in, I would watch everybody, I would study everybody that was training. People I'm training alongside. End of my session, I'm showered, I'm changed. I'd sit on the ring apron, I'd just watch the sparring. I'd watch Naz, I'd watch Donnie Nelson, I'd watch all these fighters doing what they're doing. And I just watch. So I'm learning. Went to America when Naz fought, I can't remember, Wayne McCulloch, Atlantic City. So I ended up being, I in the hotel. They have the gym in the hotel. I trained because I got on with Marco Antonio Barrera's management, because they're the same management that Acelino Freitas had when Freitas was world champion. He used the gym that I was training fighters in at Pipworth. So I got on well with Freitas and his management. So then when I was out there, they allowed me. I came in. And I'm training on the bikes while Barrera's on the pads with his coach. So I'm watching that. So again, it's just putting yourself in environments where you can soak up and be educated. So when people say to me, "Oh, I'm a young coach. How do I get to work with top fighters?" And this, put yourself in a gym. Go along to your amateur club, local amateur club. Ask to help out. Be the guy that cleans the gym up. Be the guy that just takes the odd little kids on the pads. Start from scratch. You know. And it progresses. If you put the work in and you put the hours in, then it progresses. You know, with time comes experience, and you can't buy that. You can have a shortcut, and you can nip in. You know, and get to work with bigger name fighters quicker, but you haven't got the experience or the knowledge that you might need for certain situations. I'm not saying you do, but you know, it's a long-winded process, but you can get that, because if I've done what I've done, then anyone can do it.
For sure. Well, that experience will be in the game, and guys, when you're playing your career modes, you can have 30 plus years of Dave Coldwell experience in your corner, and I'm sure you've seen him in action many a times in the professional boxing ring as well, supporting the fighters as they win numerous titles. Before we end it, we've got a few quick fire questions just about yourself, about your career. What has been the strangest moment in your career so far?
Strangest?
Like moment.
Strangest is right now living this pandemic. Other than that, yeah, because that was. Do you know what? I'll just elaborate on that. So, obviously, we hit the pandemic, and then Matchroom did the fight camps. I was involved with fight camp series. I think I was there in the of the two that have been so far, Wembley and Matchroom fight camp, Matchroom headquarters. I've done 6 bubbles, but the whole experience of going into the bubble and everything, that was surreal. That was strange. The whole thing, and then going out on fight night in essentially Eddie's old back garden. It was just a surreal situation. You've got the mask, the visors, everything. That was weird. So that is right up there. But other than that, outside of the pandemic, I would have to say when David Hayes' Achilles went, that was listen, you can prepare for every eventuality, and as a fighter, you can prepare for every eventuality. Knocking a fighter down, cutting him, me getting cut, or whatever, blah blah. That until an injury unfolds in front of you, it's very hard to prepare for. But the whole drama, the scale of the fight, how big a fight it was, and everything, for that to happen, it was just weird. It was just weird, and it was just such a shift as well, because Tony was boxing really, really well, and then his mind just completely went, because he just didn't know how to react to that, and he just, it was like a lunatic for the last 6 rounds. But that was perhaps one of the most strangest and surreal.
I can level with. I'm just saying that David Hay moment. I remember watching it. I was just thinking, what on earth is happening? It was crazy.
And I'll tell you something else as well. Again, it involves David Hay. One of the most surreal moments was when after he boxed Vladimir Klitschko, we was in a press conference afterwards. For those that don't know, I was involved with Haymaker. I was head of boxing Haymaker in the time. And when David's speaking and he gets up, stands on the chair on the table to get his toe out. That was again. It was just surreal. It was like, I remember I was stood with, and you kind of, when you know that somebody's going to do something, and it's like,
and you're like,
no, please don't do it. No, don't do it. Oh, he did it, and it was like, oh shit. But so there's been a couple of strange moments. Yeah.
What has been the worst moment as a boxing coach?
As a coach?
Yeah.
Losing.
Is there any specific one?
It's hard to say, because I take them quite personally, because I put all my emotions into them. But because I'm extremely close to these two people, when Jordan Gill was beat, I pulled him out, and when Tony Bellew was beaten by Usyk, those two were very tough moments as a coach. They weren't nice at all. It's part of boxing, and this is what you have to. This is, again, as if you want to be a coach, this is what you have to put up with. It's great when you have the great nights, but it's really, really, really bad when you have the bad nights. Those two stand out really.
I'm going to say from the worst moments to the best moment, and I think I know what the answer is, because we see it so many times. Every time a matchroom fight happens, it's on the trailer. So I'm pretty sure, but for the fans that may not know, the casuals, what has been your best moment as a boxing coach?
Yeah, Goodison Park, Tony Bellew winning the world title. That, when Matchroom put that video, whether I'm working the show, or whether I'm just in the arena as a fan, when that goes up, I can't help but watch it, because that still to this day brings hairs on the back of my neck, and it's still to this day, thank God I can just put my mind back into that exact situation,
Yeah.
I can remember that exact thought when I was looking across. I'm looking at Makabu just get sleep. As soon as the belly hits him with that left hook, and I see his head drop like that, done, and I just completely lose it. And that is the greatest emotion ever. That's that is unbelievable. You know, I'm lucky. I've had some great moments. But that's right up there as well.
I think that's a lot of British boxing fans' favorite moment. It's just the scene was set, Everton, the Creed film. Can you do it? He dropped.
Yeah.
He's screaming in the corner, "You get greedy," and then he just comes out. It's such a moment. It's honestly one of the best moments as well. Every time I see it on like the matchroom thing, I get goosebumps regardless.
And do you know what makes it so much sweeter and so much better as well is the fact that it was wrote off every stage. When Bellew first started working with it was wrote off. It was nothing but domestic fight. Won the European title. Massive achievement from him. Meant the world to him. And then, he's on European level. He'll never do this. He'll never do that. Then he went to fight for a world title, coming off the back of the film, which was just surreal. That was just nuts. Doing the red carpet with Bellew, Michael B. Jordan, Stallone, and people like that. It was like mad.
Yeah.
But then to win that world title, after all the negatives, people not rating him, people saying he can't do something, people making a joke, that was just next level. And then for him to see what he went on to achieve as well has been brilliant. But Bellew's been my friend for well before I coached him. You know, he was at my wedding, well before I coached him. I promoted a fight of his well before I coached him. You know, so it's a long friendship that's there. So for that to come off was just special.
And the final question is, it's this one I'm actually really intrigued to know your answer, because you've achieved a lot in boxing, from, like you say, a world championship fighter in Tony. You've taken other fighters to British level. You've taken them across the pond so many times, so many memories. But right now, what is your ultimate goal in boxing? Because I feel like you've so many boxers.
Simple. That is simple, and my fighters know it. And people can ridicule it the same. I had this when I first became a coach. Oh, what's he going to do? He's not going to do anything. He can't do nothing for you, blah, blah. I've had that. I've won British, Commonwealth, European, WBC and WBA world title fights. There's only there's two things that I want, two things that I need to complete, and I want to complete before I'm done. But the next step is I want a fighter that I'm only 45, so please God, I've got a long time. But at some stage before I decide to walk away, I want a fighter in the pound for pound list. That's it. If to win another world title, it'd be brilliant. Like I said, I've won world title fights with Jamie McDonald going across to America. Bellew, Goodison Park, fantastic. And please God, I win more world titles with fighters.
Yeah.
But I want a pound for pound fighter. That's what I want. And that's the dream. Listen, if you don't dream and if you don't set your targets higher than most people would say is realistic, then you're not pushing yourself. You're not challenging yourself. That is my challenge to myself. I don't care about what anybody else thinks. That is my challenge to myself, to me. That's what drives me. That's what pushes me forward. Yep. I want a fighter. When I look at the pound for pound ratings, I want a fighter that's in that pound for pound rankings. Then, when I achieve that, and when my fighter achieves that, at some point before I'm dead and before I'm gone, I want a pound for pound. I want one of my fighters as undisputed. That's what I want. So they're my two goals. So they can keep me going for as long as I need to. So I've always got that drive. I've always got that motivation to get up in the morning to go and do what I want. Because seriously, once Bellew won that world title, the pressure that I put on myself lifted off my shoulders. And now I just do what I do because I love it, which is why I don't have many fighters, because I don't say, oh, I'm a boxing coach. I'm not really. I work with fighters that have asked for my help and want to achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody that I've worked with is because I like them and I see them as friends. So I've said yes. When they've come to me, I've said no. Ask Lauren Richards, ask his management. I said no. Ask Opie Price, his dad. No. Jordan Gill, didn't want to coach him. I'm not that kind of. Even when Fowler came, I didn't want to coach him.
Yeah.
It's not my life is spending time at home with the kids. So when I'm away from my kids, I'm with a fighter. That fighter's got to be more than just because I want to get me 10%. Do you understand? So it's because when I achieved what we achieved with Bellew, the pressure was off. So now it's because I want to. Now it's because I enjoy it. Now there's no pressure. So I put them challenges on myself because that's what I want. That's what I want. I want if I retired and I retired tomorrow and I've had a couple of world champions and every other title there, I won't be happy. I'll be like, it's all right, but I won't be happy. I'll be happy if I reach my next 2 goals, then I'll be happy.
Well, just to let you know, I don't know if this counts, but someone on a career mode might be able to do that for you. You know,
No, it don't count. It doesn't count. But
if you could throw that in, It might count. Halfway there.
No, what I'm saying is, listen, 100%. I will be setting up that career mode myself, and I will be looking to get into that pound for pound listing for sure. Don't worry about that.
Listen, Dave Coldwell, the fighter, being coached by Dave Will, the coach. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for it. I can't wait until the game comes out, just like you fans at home. It's been a pleasure as always, Dave. Any final words to the fight fans and the gaming fans who may just have known you today?
Do you know what? No, just keep supporting the fighters. You know, more positivity, less negativity. Opinions are all welcome, but it's the insults we don't need. You know, we're all, whether you're a fighter, a manager, a promoter, a trainer, we're just going out there trying to do our best. You know, we're trying to achieve our dreams, our goals, and so you know we appreciate the support that everybody gives us, and I can't wait to appreciate this game. I'm genuinely excited about this game. Like I said, I'm very proud to be involved in the game, but I just think it's absolutely brilliant, and it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up. Cannot wait.
Me versus you, Dave, in the first game. I can't wait.
Oh, definitely. Don't worry about that. Definitely.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel as well as following us on our social media. Be sure to check out the eSports Boxing Club website for all the latest updates, and we'll catch you guys very shortly.